Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 8, Episode 33, overall 418 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210. Tell them Chris Palma, aka CDP, sent you, or you can email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com. As always, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, the home of Southern Talk and sports. I hope everyone's doing well today on this. I can't believe it's already Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. I've been busy the last couple days. I was in Buffalo Sunday for the day with a family member at Salem Field, taking them to a Bison's game against the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. The first sporting event I've attended in years as a non-media member. And I love going down to Buffalo, and they have a great ballpark at Salem Field as well. And last night I had two more shows with Dave Campbell from the Edmonton Elks radio broadcast, and Nashville recording artist Crystal King popped by yesterday as well. I'm excited for my guest today. This is her first appearance on our show. Her name is Tiffany Estell. She's a host of her own two podcast shows, Tea Time with Robyn and Not Your Average Podcast in the 716, weekly show about the Buffalo Bills football. I almost said Bandits, but Buffalo Bills football. And I'm excited to have her on and talk to her about her podcast shows, how she got into it, and her passion and being a huge Buffalo Bills fan in Bills Mafia as well. And we're going to bring on Tiffany Estell right now. Good afternoon, Tiffany. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you.
I just can't believe it's already Tuesday, July 23rd.
Yes, it is time for, I guess we're back. The Bills are back in at St. John's Fishers today is their first day back. So how exciting is that?
And right now here in Canada, the CFL is in week 8 already. The CFL season starts the beginning of June. So we're actually getting close to half the season being over. They have an 18-game schedule, but it's just flying by, and it's just a great time of the year right now. The CFL is underway. The NFL training camp starts up. You have Major League Baseball going on, and it's just a great time of the year. And I want to say thank you, Tiffany, for coming on here today, and just if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on. I appreciate this. So like you said, I have two shows, Tea Time with Robyn. You had her on last week. I watched that episode. I love her so much. And I have Not Your Average Podcast in the 716. Both of the shows are Bills related. We don't take ourselves too serious. I mean, we have hot takes that may be wrong. We're fans. It's more of a fan podcast. We have guys come on. We have guests on. Again, we don't take ourselves too serious.
And before we get on, I want to say a special hello to Robyn Monday, who came on last week, your co-host. I thought she was great. We talked for 90 minutes. I guess we had a good conversation. And young Robbie Schneider, who has his own podcast called the 716 Sports Blizzard podcast as well. And he loves the Bills. And that's the thing about Buffalo, Western New York. Win or lose in any of the sports, the fans just love being at the games. And it's a great sports town.
It sure is. Yeah, I mean, people say there's not a lot to do. The summertime, I think it's it's beautiful here in Buffalo. It's a lot to do. We have festivals. We have a lot to do in Buffalo. So I love that the Buffalo Bills are now relevant. So it's easy to love now. It was hard when we had the, I guess, 18-year drought. It was hard to love the Buffalo Bills. And the Sabres are just the Sabres. Let's be honest.
And you have the Buffalo Bisons, AAA baseball,
Yes.
and a lot of future Major League Baseball players play there too. So the Bisons, I want to give them a shout out. They've been great with my media work, and it's a great environment down there, and it's a beautiful ballpark too. So even when the Bills and Sabres aren't playing, you have the Bisons, and then you have the world champion that
Bandits.
Buffalo Bandits. So
Yeah.
tell me, Buffalo's only a two-sport city? No, there are four
Right.
sport city.
I don't go to the Bandits, but I watch them loosely. They're doing a great job.
Yes,
Great job.
and they've been great too. I ended up starting to watch lacrosse from this show and having guests on from the team, and they've invited me down the last couple of years, given me a media pass, and now I'm hooked on lacrosse. It's a combination of hockey and basketball, and they outdraw the Sabres and most nights. The Bandits do.
Really?
People
Wow.
down there love it. Honestly, Tiffany, if you get a chance next season, try a game. If you don't like it, I'll buy you some chicken wings. But honestly, it's a fun experience. It's affordable entertainment, and they make it like a party atmosphere there. And the Bandits are like the New England Patriots were of the National Football League. The Bandits just know how to win every year, or try to win every year, and they're a great organization. And these guys are great athletes.
Okay, I would definitely check it out. I mean, I love going to any sport arena or any sport, just enjoying, the fans and the atmosphere itself. So I'll definitely check it out.
And we've got a comment already from Robbie Schneider of the
Robbie.
716 Sports Blizzard. Hey, Chris, and go Bills. And Robbie's now sort of learning about the Canadian Football League too. So I'm hoping Robbie one day will come up to Toronto and come to a game here and see the Canadian Football League as well. So Robbie, thank you for your support. And Robyn and Tiffany, appreciate your support as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So you were saying before we went live, you're originally from Niagara Falls, New York, and now you're located in Buffalo?
Yes. I'm born and raised in Niagara Falls. Moved here maybe like 25 years ago, and have not moved back. And I love it. I love it here. I love the people. So yeah, I not a Buffalonian, but born and raised a Buffalonian, but I adopted the state, so I'm here.
The city of Buffalo has changed.
The
city's changed the past couple of decades. It used to be kind of like a industrial steel town, but it's now really evolved in the last 20 years, in my opinion, as a visitor.
Yeah, they are. The waterfront has come a long way since I've moved here. They have a lot of stuff at the canal. It's beautiful down there. That's what I said when they say there's nothing to do in Buffalo. You just go down. You don't need a boat, but if you do have one, it's a lot to do on the water. It's a lot to do in the summertime. We have a lot of festivals. We have a lot of concerts. So it's just not about the Buffalo Bills. I mean, again, it's a lot to do here.
And you have the Taste of Buffalo or Taste of Country Festival too?
We have the Taste of Buffalo. We just had the Taste of Buffalo. I think it was last weekend. We have the Canal Fest. I think it just starts last weekend too. So there's something going on every weekend in the summertime here in Buffalo.
Absolutely. And Robbie's, go Argos. And speaking of them, I will be in Toronto on Saturday night for their game at 7:00 at BMO Field. So have you been across the border? Have you been to Ontario before, Toronto before?
Oh, I've been. Haven't been since COVID, but I've been. I used to go to Toronto almost every other weekend. I'm not really a hockey fan. Ever since the no-go with the Sabres, I've kind of stepped back from hockey. But I mean, I watch what they're doing per se. They're not doing so well. So
no, the Sabres are in the midst of a 13-year playoff drought. I think they're trying to catch the Bills for the 17-year drought.
which is
No, I'll tell you this: if the Sabres get good again and start winning, that they'll be crazy. Because, like I said, the fans Buffalo sports fans are very passionate, and if the team actually wins and is competitive, they'll sell out every game there as well. But
Yeah.
hey, and as for your Bills, this is what I'm going to ask you. When did you develop your passion for the Buffalo Bills, Tiffany? And do you remember the first game you attended at Highmark Stadium, or known as Ralph Wilson Stadium or Rich Stadium? I know I'm dating myself back there.
Oh, you good. So got to be honest with you, was not a Buffalo Bills fan growing up. I was more of a Washington Redskins fan at the time, now Washington Commanders. And I liked Joe Theismann. He was my quarterback. I loved everything about Joe Gibbs. I loved everything about Washington. But my father loved the Buffalo Bills, and he liked Washington, and Washington came on all the time. So he was like, if you're going to root for your football team, root for your home, meaning the Buffalo Bills. I know I lived in Niagara Falls at the time. So I sat down and watched the game and loved it. Fell in love with the Buffalo Bills, fell in love with the red, white, and blue, all of that. So, yeah, to be quite honest, my first game, this is embarrassing. I'm not a stadium person. I like to watch it on TV. I like to see what's going on. I like to see what the ref said. I like to see everything. I have gone to preseason games, but I've not gone to like home games, regular season games. I'm not a fan of regular season games there. I like to watch it on the big screen with family and friends around.
Okay. By the way, you mentioned Joe Theismann. There's a connection between him and the Canadian Football League's Toronto Argonauts. Before he signed with Washington in the NFL, he came out of college football with Notre Dame. He played a couple years up here in Toronto with the Argonauts and almost won a Grey Cup championship, which is like our Super Bowl. So Joe Theismann has still never forgotten his CFL Toronto Argonauts days there as well. Oh, by the way, my first Bills game, I'm an Eagles fan, but my first Bills game, I went on September 26, 1997, just after Jim Kelly retired. They had Todd Collins. They weren't very good, but I went to a game against the Indianapolis Colts and Jim Harbaugh, who won a national championship with Michigan. And at halftime, the score was 26-0 Colts. And my brother-in-law at the time's like, let's go, Chris. It's 26-0. The game's over. I said, no, we drove all the way up to Buffalo for 2 hours. This is the first time I've been to Ralph Wilson Stadium back then. And I said, let's stick it out. And sure enough, in the second half, the Bills had their second greatest comeback after the playoff game against Houston against the Indianapolis Colts. The Bills won that game 37-35, outscoring. Yeah, they went crazy in the second half. And that's a memorable way to remember your first football game in Buffalo, seeing the Bills come back and win 37-35.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
But one thing too, as much as I love going to the live NFL games, it's a long day. You have to get there early.
Yeah.
And it's just a long day. You got to deal with traffic. It's a lot of fun, but you can't just go to a game and then be done with it within 2-3 hours. It's basically an 8 to 12 hour day when you go to a live NFL game, because after the game you got your traffic. You can't just take your car and that's it.
Well, now that the Bills are good, it's definitely a long day. I have neighbors. They go to every home Bills game and some away as well. And they always ask me, you have a ticket if you want to go. You have a ticket if you want to go. Just come to the tailgate. I'm just like, nah, I'm good. So I can go. I just choose not to do it. It's definitely a long day. They get up at like 7, 8, and they're gone for the whole day. And I'm just like, I'm not dedicated. I'm sorry.
There are advantages to going, but there's advantages to watching at home as well.
Yes.
And one advantage is the washroom. You don't have to worry about long lineups for the washroom or for food too.
Yeah, for sure.
And by the way, the Bills' prices for food and beverage over the years has gone up big time. Same with the Sabres. So I tell people, if you go to sporting events nowadays, eat before the game or eat after.
Yeah, I guess it's improving with the new stadium. So I guess that'll be good for fans.
I was going to ask you about that later on, but the new stadium is going to be ready in a couple years. I guess they're going to
Hmm.
keep it Highmark Stadium. Do you feel it's going to outprice the real hardcore fans and just see more corporate people in the new stadium?
Um, I don't know. We were just having this conversation in spaces, and there's some that will be priced out, and I guess you can pay a down payment. I guess make payment installments, whatever the case. I, I don't know. It's hard. I guess if it was me, I would probably be priced out because I mean I'm a family of 6. I have 4 kids, so I probably would be priced out. I don't think I would pay that much for a PCL. But the way they're talking, the bills, I guess, is still one of the kind of the lowest of PSLs, I guess. So I don't know. If diehard fans, if they want it, they'll definitely find a way to get their season tickets. I know if I was one, I would probably be priced out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know the NFL and all these sports leagues are a business, but
Yep.
eventually families are not going to be able to afford to go. And
Yeah.
I'm lucky in my case, a lot of sporting events I go to now, I do as media, so I don't have to pay for stuff.
Right.
But a husband and wife and 2 or 3 or 4 kids, that could be up to $1,000 just to go to one game for the
Yeah.
tickets, for the parking, for food and drinks and stuff like that,
I mean,
and
I take
merchandise.
my kids to Kids Day, and I'm taking them to the blue and red
Oh,
um, scrimmage. So they're going
that's
to the
awesome.
games. Yeah.
That's awesome. I tried that last year too, and I ended up talking to Sal Capaccio, and I said, I can't believe there's 60,000 people here. And Sal made a point. He's like, some of these people can't afford to go to the regular season games,
Hmm.
so this is a good opportunity for some of the fans to see the players up
Hmm.
close and be in the stadium environment.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
And when's that blue and red game? I think it's August 2nd at the
It
stadium.
is. I got it up
August.
here. Ooh, what happened? I think it's August 2nd. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh, yep.
you have
August 2nd at 5:30.
I'm just hesitant to use Ticketmaster because a couple weeks ago, Ticketmaster, I guess they got compromised. So I tell
Oh,
people,
really?
yeah, so I tell people if you use Ticketmaster online, make sure you don't save your credit card information on their site. Just manually put it in because
Yeah.
I guess they got compromised. So nothing happened to me, but I guess a lot of people that did save their information were compromised there. So,
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Thank you for letting me know. I don't
yeah,
keep my stuff on there anyway, though.
so,
But
but
thank you for letting me know.
next question we'll ask you, Tiffany, is
Hmm.
who were some of your early favorite Buffalo Bills players that you really enjoyed?
Um, whew. I try not to have favorites because players disappoint you, but I'll go with I like my Trey White. Like I
Good
love
choice.
Trey White. Tremaine Edmonds. I loved Devin Singletary. Like when Trey White was let go, I really, really hurt because I mean, and I understand the business side of it. I understand that Trey White wasn't healthy for the last 2 seasons, so I understood why they did what they did. Um, but it still didn't make things better when you see him in a different jersey. You're just like, oh, it's painful to see you in a blue and yellow and white instead of a red and blue and white. So, oh, and also when Devin was also released or cut or whatever you want to say, that hurt too because I thought Devin Singletary was a good running back. I knew they wanted to upgrade the position because Devin didn't have explosiveness to him. He could shake you out of a phone booth, but he didn't have explosive speed. So I understood that as well. Who else did I say? Um,
Troy Edmonds, who's now with the Bears.
Tremaine
Tremaine
Edmonds.
Edwards with the Bears.
Understood that as well. They were going in a different direction when it came to linebacking position. Tremaine was a freak when he came out, and I get that they wanted a more of a guy like Matt Milano. So I understood it. Still didn't make things better to have him in a Bears uniform. But Bruce Smith loved Bruce Smith. Cornelius Bennett That was my cousin. He's my cousin, so rooted for him a
Cool.
lot.
That's awesome. And I
Yeah.
remember when they got him in 1987. I believe it was around Halloween at 87, a part of the Eric Dickerson trade. And to
Yep.
be honest, that was one of the final pieces for the Bills to get to the Super Bowl run, because Bennett made such a huge impact on that Bills defense.
Yeah. Him and Bruce was just, they were just, again, I was in and out watching those games,
Yeah.
but my dad would always say Bruce Smith and Cornelius Bennett was just electric. And then you had why am I Daryl Talley. So those guys, a combination of those guys was just, that defense was crazy back then. So yeah.
Daryl Talley, I call the heart and soul of that defense.
Yeah.
He might not have been the most talented player,
Right.
but he really fit into Buffalo because blue-collar lunch pill mentality, and that's why he's still loved to this day. And
Oh yeah.
those Super Bowl teams, to me, in my opinion, as an outsider, should have won at least 2 out of the 4 Super Bowls.
We get clowned about the Super Bowl all the time, and I tell people it was the 90s, and unless you are it's low for me, it's low hanging fruit when people say, oh, you lost 4 in a row. I get it. I totally get it. It's a mark on the Buffalo Bills football organization. I so get it. But unless you were around for that and understood what was going on, I'll just leave it at that. If you were around, you knew why. You knew why it happened, why it happened. So,
but you know what? To me, they're still a dynasty because I don't see another. I know the Patriots went to 3 Super Bowls in a row, but to go 4 years in a row, especially nowadays with the free agency and the money involved, I don't see it. Kansas City could. I guess they've gone to the last 2 Super Bowls or 3 out of the last 4, so they could. But you know this as well, Tiffany, in football. Every season's different. You got free agency, you got drafts.
People want to get paid.
And guys get hurt during the season that you don't count on, and you just never know. And that's another reason why it's important to have depth on your roster.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we know anything about depth on a roster with the Buffalo Bills, is that our defense had 3. Was it last year? Yeah, last year 3 tiers down. We had Von Miller go down. We had Trey White go down. We had Matt Milano go down. So it was just, I don't use injuries as an excuse, but it is what it is. It happened. But we got those guys, the second tier, to come in there and do what they needed to do, but it just wasn't enough towards the end of the season.
I was going to bring this up after, but I think we're going to bring it up now. Von Miller, is he an X factor? Do you feel he could be an X factor for the Bills if he has any gas left in his tank? Because it's been now a year and a half since he had that serious injury again.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with Von. I think Von now is practicing with no knee brace, and anything from Von this year will be a plus. Von wasn't. I don't know who that was out there, and he know it. He was a shell of himself. Von was deactivated. He was set down 1 game. Didn't dress or anything. I think he wants to prove that he still has something left in his tank. I don't know. I would rather have this Von. I don't care if Von plays the first 4 games, whatever. If he does play, as long as he's effective, I'm fine with it. I need the guys to be more ready towards the postseason. Our defense is flat in playoffs. We don't show up. Josh Allen is still Josh Allen, and then the defense just where are you? And that has happened to us. Maybe not this last season, but the last prior 2 seasons has happened. They has just been flat. They didn't show up. It was just a shell. So, I mean, if Von can give us anything, I'm with it, because he gave us nothing last year. Yeah.
And Robbie's got one more comment. 716 Sports Blizzard Podcast. Please, if you're listening or watching our show today, check out the 716 Sports Blizzard Podcast. Robbie says you got a great guest there, and Tiffany. Go, Bill. See you around, Chris and Tiffany. Thank you so much, Robbie.
Thank you, Robbie. Appreciate that.
All right. We talked about Von Miller. How do you feel Matt Milano will come back? Because he's kind of like the leader of this defense now.
Yeah. Well, I think they should take it easy. I don't know if he's back in week one. I mean, I know they said they're gonna, when it comes to the training camp, they're gonna push him in a little bit, slowly. So even if they, wait and see. Here's the thing about our linebacker room: they went out and got some guys this season. I don't think they want to be in the position they were in last year when they had to go and ask, oh my God, the linebacker from Carolina. What is his name? I forgot his name. Klein. He was going on a trip. AJ Klein. He was going on a trip with his family. Get a phone call. Hey, can you suit up? This is a guy coming off the couch and playing. I don't think they want to experience that this year. But for Matt Milano, if you ease him in, I'm good with it. Will he go week one? I hope so. But if not, we got guys. I want to see what Darian Williams can do. It's his second year. He looked good in the playoff, in the post season. So I'm really excited about our linebacker position.
Wanted to ask you this too. Micah Hyde, I don't think he's signed. He's obviously had an impact on the Bills and with his, playing on the field with the Bills and with his community work. Is there any chance they could bring Micah Hyde back as a player or possibly a coach in the future?
Oh, Micah. Micah has not said anything about retirement or anything. So we don't know what Micah's doing. I know he said the only thing he has said that if he doesn't play with the Buffalo Bills, he's not going to play football. So if they wait until maybe he doesn't want to work in training camp, maybe they bring him back during the regular season. I'm with it. Like Micah Hyde was a fixture, him and Jordan Poyer, the safeties that we never had to worry about. This is our first year without those two back there. And it's it's making Bills fans, I'll just say me, a little uneasy because I never had to worry about our safeties. They were there, So will he come back? I hope he does. As a coach, he's done it before when he wasn't on the field. He helped Tyler Rapp. So I wouldn't be opposed to Micah Hyde coming and being a coach at all.
And to be honest, the Bills the last couple of years, obviously the 13 seconds loss, but they were getting up there in age defensively. Yeah. And the bottom line is they've had so many chances with this core that I think they had to step back a little bit. And I think they're still going to be okay. Speaking as an outsider, obviously you still got the same GM, Brandon Beane, and Sean McDermott's there. So it's going to be a different defense and different team this year, but they did have to get younger and faster. And I think they did that. It's just a matter of whether the young guys can step up to a high level to get this team back into 12, 13 win team in 2024.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all knew that Jordan Poyer had taken a step back. He's missing a step. Micah Hyde, injuries, and you start thinking, okay, what do we have to do? So they brought in Edwards. They brought in, Taylor Rapp was brought in last year. They went out and got Cole Bishop. So, they have guys, they went out and got younger, and they knew they had to because our safeties was a position that defense was legit. It was legit.
And I was going to save this for later, but I think we'll do it now. I want to ask you, Tiffany, as a Bills Mafia member, how much of an impact did Stephon Diggs have on the Bills' development of Josh Allen, and your thoughts on the trade to the Houston Texans?
We get this all the time with who made who, and I'll say this. I think he helped Josh Allen develop in a way that he needed to take another step, right? You bring in a wide receiver to help your quarterback to elevate. And I think those two helped each other. I think Josh Allen, in certain aspects of his game, he needed help, and Stephon Diggs did that for him. And I think vice versa when it came to Josh Allen helping Stephon Diggs helping Josh. Like all of that comes together. You need one. You can't have one without the other. I'll say that. And as for the trade, I thought it was a year too early, but I understood it. I mean, if you want to get from under a contract and to have money next year, you do it now. Was I shocked? Absolutely. I seen it and I was like, no, this can't be real. It's not real. Why would you take that debt cap? But as a business aspect of it, I understood why he did it. Houston, though, I was afraid he might have went to Kansas City to like end the division. But I know Brandon Beane doesn't try to do stuff like that. So I was all right with Houston, but still I didn't want Stephon going this year because if you had Stephon Diggs, Coleman, and in this wide receiver room, and also like Shakir stepping up, Dawson Knox, that is scary, you know? So I thought it was a year too soon, but I understood it.
You see what Houston did? They're paying Diggs a whole whack of money this year, but they're going to let him be a free agent at the end of this year. I don't personally, my opinion, he'll play the year in Houston, and then I think eventually he'll end up in either Kansas City or Dallas in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, also too, I can't worry about what Diggs is going to do after this year. I mean, good luck to him. You know what I mean? Good luck to him. And if he makes Patrick Mahomes better, awesome. If he makes Dak Prescott better, awesome. So.
Well, what you don't need, he was a great player. You don't need the drama, and you want guys that want to be there because it's about the team. And as much as Diggs is talented, he sort of did this in Minnesota as well. So, I really think the Bills made the right decision and moving on from him. Obviously, he's one of the greatest receivers in Bills history in his 4 years, but I guess it was time to move on. And we're going to find out what this receiving core can do without Diggs. And quick thoughts on Keon Coleman, who they drafted out of Florida State.
I like the fact that they're going big. They want the guy to go up and get the ball. I mean, Josh Allen needs one of those guys to, elevate. And he's a big wide receiver. I like it. When Josh first came into this league, he had Smurfs. Sean McDermott called them Smurf. They were all small. We had Cole Beasley. We had Isaiah McKenzie. We had John Brown. So we had little guys. I mean, I like the fact that he's a big guy. Can he separate? We'll see. There's a book on Coleman. He can't separate. He's not fast. We don't know what he can do as a pro. So I'm excited to see what he can do with Josh Allen. And go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say they signed Canadian Chase Claypool, who used to play for the Steelers, but I'm not sold on him because of his attitude, so I don't know what's going to happen with him. But the one guy I like who they picked up in free agency, Curtis Samuel from the Washington Commanders. He's fast and he can go deep, and I think out of all the signees, wide receiver-wise, I think I like him better than Chase Claypool.
Yeah, I don't, what, here's the thing about our wide receiver room. We don't know. It's a mystery. And you can take it as I'm nervous about the wide receiver room, or you can take it as this is exciting. This is something that Josh can mold, and let's just see what happens. I mean, we know what Shakir can do. It's Shakir's third year. Third year. Third year. So we know that him and Josh got a little of a connection. Let's see what this will bring. Dalton Kincaid going into his second year. Let's see what that combination happens. We have James Cook back there. His run game sparked up last year. Let's see what that brings. So I'm excited about this offense and this wide receiver room.
I'm a huge fan of James Cook, even though I'm an Eagles fan and we got Barkley from the Giants. James Cook, I think, is a great running back. I think he still needs to work on his pass protection. to help
Yeah.
Josh Allen. And if he could maybe catch some more passes out of the backfield with his speed, I think James Cook is capable of elevating his game this year. And I think they're going to need him even more this year without having Stephon Diggs or that number one guy on the team this year.
Yeah, I like James Cook. He had a breakout season last year, 1,000 yards. He's a weapon. Yeah, like you said, he's hands has been a little shaky. In OTAs, we've seen it. But get on that jug machine. All I got to just say, James Cook, get on the jug machine. Whatever you need to do to catch the balls out of the outfield, just catch the ball, because once he does, he's very explosive. So, and then we picked up Ray Davis. I love Ray Davis. I think he's going to be a star in this league. Different running back than James Cook. So, it's very exciting.
And how do you feel about bringing back backup quarterback Mitch Tavinsky, who's been gone the last couple of years?
If I have to talk about the backup quarterback, there's a problem. I'll say that.
But
I don't have a problem with it. He knows the offense. The offense doesn't change that much. Yeah, the system. I bet he knows the system. I mean, I like it. I don't. Didn't like the fact that we had, I think, Cal Allen back there. I mean, Mitch has played in this NFL. He started some games, so I'm good with Mitch coming back.
So, all right, we're going to get to some questions about your podcast show. I wanted to ask you this, Tiffany. How did you end up coming about starting up your podcast show, Tea Time with Robyn, and Not Your Average Podcast in the 716? And just tell my audience behind the scenes of your podcast shows and what exactly you do besides the on-air stuff.
So, Not Your Average Podcast, I started that show in 2019. I have 367 episodes. So I started it. Thank you. I started it out just having a conversation. First, it was just me talking beer, because I love craft beer, and football, and a little bit of music on the side. So I started that, and you know how it goes. You start a podcast, and you're like, I don't like the way it's going. So I switched it up a little bit. Took the beer, took the music out, and just started talking Buffalo Bills. Added on a co-host, Mike, and we just been going ever since. We talk everything football from the opponents around the league, and we have questions from the fans, and love that podcast. That's my baby. But me and Robyn, I wanted to do a different podcast. I wanted females, me and her, on talking football, because you don't really see a lot of females out there talking about football, Buffalo Bills. So I just wanted that interaction between two females talking about the Buffalo Bills. And she said yes, and it's just been on ever since. I love her. She is awesome. She my yin to my yang. So it's a fun time. It's not hard. It's stressful. We don't take ourselves too serious. We are a very lighthearted podcast. Just something we love to do. So, yeah.
When I talked to Robyn last week, she was on my show. I when I heard the name Tea Time with Robyn, I was thinking it was a golf show. So just explain behind the name for that show, because as soon as the way it was said, Tea Time with Robyn, I'm thinking, it's a golf show. So
my nickname is T.
Okay.
And she's Robyn. So I just wanted to play off our names. And so I came up with so many different names, and we're just nasty. So I was like, what about just Tea Time with Robyn? And she was like, I like it. And I was like, I know people probably going to think it may be something to do with golf, but if you think about it, it's more like tea, having some tea with Robyn as a bird. So I played it off like that, and she was like, I get it, I like it. So we just kept it, because it was just trying to come up with some, not a gimmick, but just trying to come up with something that everybody didn't have. So yeah. So I had this guy too, right? So as our first episode, this guy on Twitter at the time, he was like, I want to have Lipton Tea sponsor you guys. And I'm just like, if you get Lipton Tea to sponsor us, you're awesome, whatever. I said, but it's what it's cool. He was like, I like the name. I like it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not changing it from TEA, but it's still going to be T, as TEE. So never got Lipton. It's fine. But yeah, that's how we got the name.
How often is your show, and how long is it normally? And where can my audience that's watching and listening become regular subscribers to your show?
So, Robyn and I, we do Thursdays at 11 o'clock live. We are on YouTube. We are also on X. You can catch us on X. And we drop that live on Friday as a podcast. And then Not Your Average Podcast is on every social media platform, Instagram, all of it. I tape that on Thursdays as well at 2 o'clock. We drop on Saturdays with that one in a podcast form.
Can you tell my audience, as a fellow podcaster, how much work there is behind the scenes of doing a podcast show?
So when you don't have a producer, you do it all yourself. So after I drop, so we're dropping today. Say I'm doing this today. I drop today. I do all the downloads, all of the trying to get, the work out there on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. Everything that you have to stream, you have to do by yourself if you don't have a producer. So it's not just recording and just posting. You have to post it everywhere. You have to brand yourself. You have to put yourself out there. At first, I'll tell you this about myself. I'm an introvert, so I don't like to do any of that stuff. I had to force myself to be out there to get people to say, oh, you have a podcast. Oh, let me listen. Oh, I like it. I didn't care. I just did it for me. But if you're doing a show, you want people to watch, so you have to put yourself out there. So it was always a struggle for me doing this. I never wanted to post, and Mike was like, you have to post, and I'm like, yeah, I know. He was like, we got to post it. I'm like, yeah, I will. So I'm getting out of my shell. So I'm coming on shows like yours, and getting myself out there.
I can relate that, because when I started this 4.5 years ago, I was only on Instagram and I didn't want to go public. And my one friend said, look, Chris, you want to get into radio, you want to get into media, you've got to open this up to public. And the last 3.5 years, I'm on all social media sites. My show is public, and I've had to change. So I can relate to you when I first started out as well. I wanted to keep this private, and I was worried about what people would think. And now it's like, no, I'm doing this because this is a passion of mine, and I built my audience. So I can relate to you in that way as well.
Yeah. It's sometimes you got to get out of your own way. You have to get out of your own way. So.
And no matter how many people are watching, treat every show like it's an audition. And for me, you just never know who's watching or listening. And I have listeners in 36 countries around the world, which I never thought would happen starting this during the pandemic.
I totally understand. I get it, because I do this because I love it. I'm not doing it because, I hope somebody watched my show. If you watch it, it's a plus. I thank you for watching. But I'm doing this because I love football, not just the Buffalo Bills. I love football. I love learning. I love listening to people who know more than me about football. And I just love doing it. So
for me, it's the storytelling aspect and learning from my guest. And I just love talking to people. In my last career, I was in corporate security, and I had to deal with many people, and talking is huge, but also I've learned this too. Listening is just as important as talking, because sometimes you can write down questions, and when you ask your guests a question, they can give you the answers to 8, 9, 10 questions. So I tell people, it's okay to write points and notes down, because I've learned this from some of my professional guests that came on a few years ago. But you have to learn to have a national conversation. You can write
Yep.
down stuff, but talk to your guests like, hey, if we were at a chicken wing place right now or a bar
Yeah.
like Duff's or whatever, I would be talking to you the same way, because natural conversation makes for a better radio show or a podcast instead of scripted.
Absolutely. I'll tell you this, the last 2 years, I've reached out to people. And my whole thing was when I started my podcast, I'm afraid of no. And then I had to switch my mind to say, what's the worst thing they can say to you? Is no.
No, no.
Okay. All right. You got to know. It's fine.
You got to
I'll
put
tell.
yourself out there. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had guests on, and listen, I love it. I love it. You know.
And you know, I've had a lot of success with guests, but I've also had no's or people that are
Mhm.
no show. But one thing I won't do as a podcast radio host, if someone's not sure about coming on my show or they don't want to come on, I move on. And
Yeah.
and I've learned in this industry, doesn't matter if you're doing podcast, radio, whatever, don't take things personally and just focus on another guest. And like I said, you're going to have your successes and sometimes setbacks, but I also learn with guests. I've had some that have canceled on me at the last minute. Always have a plan B, plan C. And when I
Absolutely.
started this, Tiffany, I started my show the first 5 months because I wasn't very good. I
Mhm.
started it as a solo show, and that way I think that prepared me, because when something that does happen where a guest can't come on for whatever reason, I can still come on the air, feel comfortable, and do my show.
Yeah, I started as a solo podcast as well. It's hard. It's hard to do, but I can do it again if I need to. So, yeah.
What have been some of your most memorable shows and some of your most memorable guests so far,
Ooh.
or a guest?
Just recently I had a guest on Spirit of Detroit. Avant was his name, I think. If I mispronounced your name, I'm so sorry. I'm bad with names. I love football, and I like Detroit. I rooted for Detroit last year, and he came on, and it was a conversation, like you said. I take notes. I take notes, but it didn't need it. We were just having an awesome conversation. Just so happened to be recorded. So that one was great. I had, he's gonna kill me for this. I had Drew from the Rock Power Report, a Bills fan. He has a Bills podcast too. He comes across as this jerk, but he really isn't. Great conversation. He has, oh my God, he has Grills Mafia. He does every summer. I met the kicker, the long snapper from the Buffalo Bills. Why am I blanking on his name? Forgive me, but I met him as well. So those 2 episodes, great episodes. Again, it was just a conversation piece and happened to be recorded. So those were the 2 that stand out right now for me. But yeah, Drew is crazy and I love him. He comes across again like this a-hole, but he's such a great guy. Such a great guy.
And you know what? Being in media now, you see a different side. I've had some guests that come on my show, which I never thought I would. And sometimes on TV and radio, you're like, oh, I don't know. And you feel intimidated. And then as soon as you start talking to them, they're totally different. And I tell people now, don't just judge someone based on being on the radio and TV. People aren't always what they are. And a couple guys that came on, I thought, oh, this is going to be difficult. And they were great to talk to. So I can relate to you there as well with guests.
You had someone on that I want on my show.
Sal Who Capaccio. Was it? Sal Capaccio.
Yeah. So okay. I'm going to reach out to him one day. I haven't gotten up to do it, but
I did. I reached out to him a couple years ago, and now he's been on my show 4 times. What I'll do is the best way to contact Sal is through Twitter X. Okay. I can't, without his permission, give you his personal email address. But if you contact him through Twitter X and mention to him that you're friends with me and you know who I am, hopefully that will help. But Sal, if he has the time, makes the time, he'll come on, and he usually gives me about 30 minutes or 25 minutes, whatever time Sal can give me. And he's good. It's just he's very busy, but best way is Twitter X, and just I hope it helps you. Just mention my name in my show, and fingers crossed, because he is so passionate about the Bills, and he's like an encyclopedia too.
Yeah, he is. Well, I met Sal several times. Me and Sal shared the same birthday. So, and his kid played flag football with mine. So it's just me reaching out. That's
You can
it.
do it.
And
You can do it. You can do it.
just
You can
getting
do
up the oomph to do it.
Do it. No, be yourself.
Yeah.
Honest to God, when I started this, it was scary, but I reached out to people, and once I got my first guest, I've now had over 400 guests on. So
Wow.
the worst thing they can tell you is no, or they're not interested. And when they do that, don't take it personally. Just move on. There's so many opportunities out there. So one day I might even write a book with all the guests they've had on my show. And I've been very lucky. I always tell people I'm just a host. It's the guests that make a show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
By the way, I have a friend, Evan. He wants to say hello, and he's been supportive of my work as well. He's here in Ontario, Evan. So I thank you, Evan, for watching, and to Robbie as well. We're going to wrap this show up in a minute. This question I had to ask you. What is the mood like in Buffalo, Western New York right now for this 2024 Buffalo Bills team? And do you feel the Super Bowl window has shrunk for the Bills?
Well, oh man, I think with the retooling of the Buffalo Bills right now, and I'll say this, when Diggs left, it was, what are we going to do? What does this wide receiver room look like? What's happening? But then as the days and the months have gone by, we've seen Josh Allen do certain things with wide receivers that weren't, and I don't want to say that they weren't capable of reaching a certain level. But I mean, he had Kelvin Benjamin. He had Brown. Oh my God, some wide receivers.
John Brown.
He had John Brown. And not that John Brown's wasn't elite or nothing like that.
He was productive. He was productive. He was
he was definitely productive. He had Woods. So if he can elevate those guys, Josh can elevate the wide receiver room that he has now.
Well, look at Patrick Mahomes. Last year, he only had Travis Kelce and a bunch of kind of no-name receivers, and he was able to elevate them. Same with Tom Brady. As much as everybody hates Tom Brady, the great quarterbacks can elevate. And we're going to see that with Josh Allen this year. I really still think the Bills' offense is going to be strong even without Diggs. It's their defense I'm kind of worried about. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure yet with that secondary.
I mean, when it comes to our secondary, we lost two guys back there, yes. But if I'm putting it on coordinators, I'll say that. I think Josh will elevate this wide receiver room. I need to see what Joe Brady can do with this offense. I need to see if Bobby Babbage is going to take over the defense, because we've seen what Sean McDermott can do with this defense. We've seen it. I need to know, if you hand it off to Bobby Babbage, if this defense is going to be the same, take a step up, take a step back. Like, where is this defense going to be? And as for the window with the Buffalo Bills, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know, to be quite honest with you. Is it shrunk? I think every year you don't make a Super Bowl, your window kind of closes, I guess, if you want to say that. But then on the other hand, you have Josh Allen. Is your window ever closed? So
that's a good point. He's still healthy. He's still in his prime. So you still have your chance. But I think the coaching staff, Sean McDermott and the entire coaching staff, are going to probably have to work harder and do a better job getting these guys ready. And we'll see what happens. And Robbie's still watching. I think we answered his question. He just wanted to know what you thought the Bills need to get better during the season. And I think, as an outsider, it's going to be the play of the secondary and the linebackers. And if that front four, if their defense can be average, middle of the pack, and that offense is good. This is still a very good football club, and I don't see why they can't compete for the AFC East, at least the AFC East again this year.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the offense, yes, he was a polarizing figure. Diggs was a polarizing figure. You took him away. Okay, and you also, I'm sorry, you also took Davis away. We can't forget Davis as well.
He was an enigma. There was times where he could have 200-yard games and a couple of touchdowns, and then there's games where he was
just removed. Yeah, there was down the stretch where games, 4 or 5 games where Gabe Davis wasn't even thought about in this offense. So, I don't know. I'm just excited to see what it's going to be because we don't know. And I think the unknown is making people a little bit uneasy because we kind of knew for the last 4 years with Diggs and Davis what that looked like. Now we don't know. So the fear of the unknown is really something that people may be afraid of.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Tiffany.
Oh boy.
How many games do you see the Bills winning in 2024 regular season wise?
Oh, I hate predictions, but I'll do it. Oh my God. I could see them winning 11 to 12 games.
I have them 10-7 as an outsider. 10-7.
I'm not mad at that.
All right. And I do this with all my guests at the end of our shows. What are a few fun facts about Tiffany Estell and your podcast shows?
Ooh, fun fact. I am foster mom / adopted 2 kids, or 4 now.
Awesome.
What else about me? I love craft beer. So if you're ever at a brewery, ooh, I'll buy you a beer. So I love craft beer. Yeah. So.
Favorite craft beer in the Buffalo area.
Right
For me for next time. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm an IPA. I love IPA.
Okay.
My favorite place to go to brewery is Beltline in Buffalo on Swan Street. I think they have the most. I love their beer there, and it's what is it called? Right now it's oh my God, it's called, I think it's Yellow Jacket. It's based off of Keon Coleman's his jacket that he wore, the yellow jacket that he wore when he was took interviews. So yeah, it's the yellow jacket at Beltline.
And what are 3 words to describe yourself?
Ooh, you are putting me on the spot. Jesus. Fun. Oh my God. Oh my God. What are you doing to me, Chris?
Or one word to describe you. So.
I'll say this. Lighthearted, don't take nothing serious. Here to have a good time. Not here for a long time, but here to have a good time. So yeah.
Life is short, and you know what? I've done more living in my 40s and 50s than I did in my 20s and 30s. And I tell younger people now, don't think because you're young you have all this time. Just go out and do what you have a passion for and what you enjoy.
Yes, for sure.
Now, this is a lot easier to wrap the show up with. Can you just tell my audience about your upcoming next episodes, especially with Robyn Monday on Tea Time with Robyn and your Not Your Average Podcast in 716? And again, where can my audience watch and listen to those shows?
Okay, this week is going to be a little different. We are coming out tomorrow on a Wednesday because I'm going on vacation on Thursday. So tomorrow, Tea Time and Not Your Average Podcast. The Tea Time show comes on at 11 o'clock live on YouTube, X. You can catch Robyn and us at live at 11 o'clock. Not Your Average Podcast is coming out at 2 o'clock. That's on the Building Buffalo Network on Facebook and YouTube. Those shows you can also find on Spotify. You can find them on Apple. You can find them anywhere you get your listen to your podcast shows. So yeah. And that's training fun. Camp. Training camp start today. So we'll be talking about training camp tomorrow.
Are you going to try to go down to training camp?
Oh, I'm going next Monday.
You should do a live there.
It's so it's hot. It's hell down there. It's so hot at training camp. I tried to do one last year, and I was just hot. I couldn't do it. It was just too hot.
And if you
But
don't mind me,
notes.
and a vacation. Where are you going for vacation? Anywhere exciting?
We got an Airbnb. It was 2 hours away. We just rented a house with the kids and my friends and their friends, and we're just camping. I don't even know where it's at. Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just make sure you enjoy it and stuff like
that.
Yeah. The summer's flying by. It's flying by.
Yes. Anytime training camp happens for me, the summer's over.
And finally, where can my audience follow you on social media and your website? And Tiffany, I want to say thank you for giving us over an hour of your time today to come on live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And I would love to be a guest on your show one day.
Absolutely, you definitely will. You definitely will. So you can find me on X. It's TBIB. You can also find me on Instagram. Same thing. No, not your average podcast. NYAP, not your average podcast, 716. And you can find me on Instagram. What did I say? Facebook, same thing. Yes. So NYAP is everything you can find me on. So I don't have a website out yet. I will. I'm working on that. I just need to. This is when you need to hire somebody to do your website. So I might have to get somebody to do my website for me. Haven't done it yet, but it's coming.
I have a mini website. It's through beacons.ai. It's similar to Linktree, and I have your Linktree website up here as well.
Thank you. My Linktree is up there. So
Linktree / not your average podcast, and all your platforms are on there. And that's what I've done with my website. It's on beacons.ai / Christy Pame, and people can check out all my work and all my episodes on there as well. And yeah, you're right. One day, if I do have a full-size website, I'm going to hire somebody to do that as well.
Yes.
All right. Well, hey, Tiffany, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here today. And I will try to tune into your show tomorrow at 11 a.m. with you and Robyn. And
thank you.
Continue success in your podcast shows. And hopefully we'll run into you in Buffalo in August when I come back up for a couple of Buffalo Bisons games. And I do love chicken wings. Got to ask you this. Chicken Wing City, best chicken wings in Buffalo.
Holy crap, Chris, you're putting me on the spot. Okay. I'll have to say Duff's is one of the places I go to, and I know that's not everybody's go to. Barbells is another great one. My personal favorite where I go is, oh my God, it's over here on Niagara Street. It is Sports and Pizza Bar.
That's awesome. The bar. That's the bar that Sal has his show at. Sal's house on Niagara Street.
Oh my God! And I just missed him. I had something to do on that day, and I was talking to I think it was Mike in there. He was like, "You missed a week," and I was like, "Yeah, I had something to do." He's like, "Sal was here," and I was like, "I know." I was pissed off that I missed him. So yeah, they have great IPAs in there, and also great pizza and wings.
Deal, and I'll let you buy. I'm just joking.
No, I told you once you come down, let me know. We can go out and have some pizza and some beer for sure.
Blue cheese or final question: blue cheese or ranch dressing?
Oh, I am blue cheese. I don't know. I don't even know what people are doing when they say ranch. Ranch goes on a salad, not on blue cheese. Stop it.
Absolutely. And when you do get Sal Capaccio to come on your show in the future, please let me know, and I'll be glad to watch as well. And I'll try to support you guys and watch your shows as much as I can. And during football season, I'm an Eagles fan, but as long as you guys don't play Philadelphia, I'll cheer for Buffalo. I have a soft spot for Buffalo. But Tiffany, I'm going to let you go. So again, continued success on your shows. Have a great vacation, and look forward to being a guest on your show one day.
Thank you so much for having me on, Chris. You have a great day.
And I will send you a video and audio copy and some clips and reels tonight on social media if you'd like to post on your pages as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Go Bills. Bye.
Go Bills.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed season 8, episode 33, overall 418 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph. I want to say thank you to my guest, Tiffany Estell from Tea Time with Robyn podcast and Not Your Average podcast in the 716. Please check out Tiffany Estell on social media and her podcast shows. And if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, a National Football League fan, check out her shows. She's very knowledgeable and passionate about the Buffalo Bills as well. Before we wrap up the show, guys, my next Argo Bounce live audio show with yours truly, Chris Pame, and Nick Small, my co-host, will be tomorrow night, Wednesday, July 24th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And we have a special guest lined up as well. And you guys can find out when you tune in at 7:30 tomorrow night. Nick and I are going to break down the Argos 27-24 heartbreaking loss to the Hamilton Tiger Cats and talk a little bit about the loss of Peter Martin, the Toronto Argonauts legend, linebacker and broadcaster, and Argos alumni president. He passed away recently at the age of 83. And we're going to preview the Argos' upcoming home game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this Saturday night, July 27th, 7 o'clock at BMO Field. You can get tickets at argonauts.ca/tickets, or the game will be on TSN or TSN 1050 on the radio. Guys, if you're looking for your forever friend, a forever furry pet and friend, please check out the Cambridge District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, or you can visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org, cambridgehumanesociety.org. If you're interested in volunteering there, you can fill out a form through the website. And all the pets that are up for adoption right now, they're full at the shelter in Cambridge. You can see all their profiles on cambridgehumanesociety.org. And also, guys, they're doing a 50-50 monthly raffle draw, and you can get your tickets on cambridgehumanesociety.org, or again, drop by the shelter at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. As always, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is hosted by yours truly, Chris Pame, is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. Our radio station's website is wqeefm.radio12345.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And also, guys, I am on Cameo.com. If you'd like a personalized video from me, go to Cameo.com and type in Chris Pame. All proceeds from my cameos will go to my radio and media work. You can check out my website at beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. That's beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show again is brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email at info@barrycullen.com. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now, guys, employees pricing is available at Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now. Save up to $10,500 on select 2024 Silverado models. This offer ends on July 25th, which I believe is Friday, or what's today? Tuesday, so Thursday. So you have up until Thursday, July 25th to get a 2024 Silverado model. More details at barrycullen.com about their employees' pricing. Live with CDP merchandise is coming, and hopefully within the next few weeks in August, I have some new t-shirts coming out. You can also follow this content creator on TikTok at Live with CDP. And I want to say thank you to everyone following me on TikTok. And if you haven't, hit the follow notification. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting, check out StreamYard.com, and all their plans are on StreamYard.com, the website. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment podcast is available on these audio platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, and now available on YouTube Music. So make sure you check out YouTube Music and hit that subscribe notification for Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And also, guys, I am on YouTube. Hit Chris Palme Live with CDP Sports Talk and hit that subscribe notification and hit that follow. And I want to say thank you so much to all the 400 plus subscribers I have on my YouTube channel, and for all the people that have viewed my channel over the years as well. Finally, you guys can email or text Live with CDP Sports Talk at cpalme19@gmail.com, or text the show at 519-820-7188. That's 519-820-7188. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback, positive, negative, would be greatly appreciated as well. My next Live with CDP Sports Talk and Entertainment Talk show will be next week, to be announced. But again, the Argo Bounce live audio show, episode 7, tomorrow night, Wednesday, July 24th, 7:30 p.m. with Nick Small and myself, with a special guest, and looking forward to that show as well. And the Small Talk podcast will return on Tuesday, July 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 on the West Coast, with my co-host Marlene Sharp and myself. We have a special guest, which I'll announce very soon, and that will be our 7th episode in season 2 of the Small Talk podcast. So again, check out the Argo Bounce live audio show tomorrow night at 7:30, and the Small Talk podcast on Tuesday, July 30th at 7 p.m. And again, I want to say thank you in the last 24 hours to Dave Campbell from CHED 630 in Edmonton, Crystal King, a Nashville recording artist, and now Tiffany Estell from the Not Your Average podcast in the 716 and Tea Time with Tiffany, for coming on today and talking about her podcast shows and the Buffalo Bills. I hope everybody has a great afternoon, great evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night at 7:30 for the Argo Bounce live audio show. And for some of you, we'll see you back here next week for another edition of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph and on WQE 99.1 FM. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and thanks again for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show.